Yo, dude.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, we're rolling already, so anything you say can and will be used against you.
Just right out of the gate. I like it.
You know, no need. Hey, you know what? I was talking to Trevor. I saw him a couple weeks ago, really before all the Corona stuff, like really hit. And I went up to him. We were at a charity event together. And I was like, hey, dude, you guys had pulled out of the Country to Country Festival. And I was like, man, you guys were the first ones to do that. Kind of the cutting edge of pulling out of festivals. Look, you guys knew what was coming.
Yeah, man. We had a little, I don't know, man. We talked about that for a long time. And it was not an easy thing to do. And we knew we were going to catch some flack for it. But it just, man, felt like the right thing, especially, when we started talking about, like, our crew and stuff, because, I mean, partially that was a big part of the decision because those guys don't have any, like, gain for going over there. It's not like they're not getting paid more for going over there. They're not, we're just kind of putting them over there. And at the time, it seemed like we were putting them in a little bit of risk of maybe getting stuck or maybe not getting home as easily as possible. And there was just so much uncertainty around it that we just made that decision. I'm glad we made it. It sucks that we pissed some people off, but we just did it, and now we look like we knew something was coming. But
yeah, you're like the Nostradamus of freaking touring bands.
Yeah.
You bring up the crew guys. I was reading an article on Billboard today, and it was talking about coronavirus and the vulnerability of the gig economy. And it's, who's suffering, and everybody's suffering, but all those guys. And I can tell you, my deal is I felt like I needed to pay, because I just have a tour manager, right? I do stand up, have a very little crew. You guys have a ton. But I had probably 8 or 9 dates, and I was able to pay her because she was one person. But what a lot of people don't know is you have a whole team that is traveling with you who is, some of them are gig paid, right?
Well, yes, some of them are. Most of them are on salary at this point. So right now, everybody's good.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, hopefully, we're trying to ride this out to the very last minute. Like right now, it looks like everybody's good. Everybody's taken care of. Nobody's working. But right now, we don't really have anyone that is scrounging for a paycheck. So that we're fortunate in that, in that way that we have gotten to a point where we could, pay our employees the way we do and keep them in their homes right now.
Well, let's rewind a little bit though, because let's say it's a year and a half ago, or it's some of these artists that have like a hit, like they don't really have the resources to pay someone a salary yet. And, it's a lot of those guys who are players or guys that are, running monitors who are now going, what the crap am I supposed to do?
Yeah, man, that's, we aren't that far removed from that. And there are a lot of those guys out there. And some of them are, on bigger tours too, tours bigger than us. Like, it's just a philosophy of how you want to pay your people, and neither one is wrong. We just kind of lucked out this way right now that's how we chose. But yeah, for those guys and girls that are out there like humping it and they're getting per show pay, it's got to be really, really scary right now.
I saw a video you posted trying out curling.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was an older video, but that was fun.
Yeah, but what's difficult about that? I'm not saying it's easy because I have no idea. I've just never done curling. I see it in the Winter Olympics. Well, so what's tough about curling?
Man, those guys, like, if you like talk to the guys that are like super into it, that's the only time we ever did it. There's different releases that you can release that stone and make it curve and all this stuff. I mean, the most difficult part is obviously standing on the ice and not just completely busting your ass. But it was fun. I mean, it's like the sport you can drink a lot of beer while you're playing. It's like it's like bowling almost. So it's like bowling and shuffleboard. I'm sure like there's people that are super into it that I don't know. We all sucked at it, but it was fun to try.
What are you doing at the house all day now?
Man, I've been doing a lot of artwork, actually. I went to art school, so I haven't had a whole lot of time in the past decade to do any kind of like painting or visual art, and that's what I grew up doing a lot of. So I've kind of dove into doing a lot of that lately.
What did you go with the intentions of doing when you went to art school?
You know, my degree is in illustration. So, but honestly, man, I just I couldn't really do anything else. I wanted to go to either music school or art school because those were two things that I was super passionate about. But I don't know. I still don't know how to read music. I don't know how to read music, so I couldn't really go to music school. I would have been way behind the curve there. So, so art school was really kind of my only other option. So I was either going to have to like stay at home with my parents, or and get a job, or go to art school. So art school was it.
You're telling me you have 8 number ones and you don't know how to read music?
Don't know how to read. I mean, I can, I could not sight read a thing. I could not sit down and look at some sheet music and play it. No, I couldn't do it. If you showed me a note and said, "What note is that?" it would take me embarrassingly long to figure it out. I can figure it out, but no, I don't read music. It's all ear.
We'll do the number ones. Of all the number ones, which one kind of fell out the quickest that you wrote?
Save It for Rainy Day was the quickest one. And it's a funny story about that one because, so that one was written by me and Brad Tersey and our friend Andrew Dorff, who passed away a couple years ago. And back then, we used to write, we had like a sort of standing thing where we would write at 9 a.m. before our regular write. So we would write, our normal write would be scheduled for 11 with whoever, but we would meet at 9 and kind of work on something that we had already started, or, start something knowing that we weren't going to finish it. But that day, we didn't really have anything. So it was a 9 a.m. write, and I was trying to think of ideas before I, went into the write, and I had that idea, Save It for Rainy Day, and I sort of was driving into the write and thinking about it and kind of singing through it. And so when I got there, I kind of sang through the idea, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do that." And we wrote that in like 45 minutes. It was done.
So when you say you were singing it on the way in, are you just singing the melody? Do you have a lot of the lyrics for the hook? What does that mean when you say that?
Well, I had I definitely had the idea of like the chorus of like, the sun's too bright, the sky's too blue, beer's too cold. I had that. I had basically the chorus kind of idea mapped out and the melody, but I didn't have, it wasn't like I was playing a guitar, but I just heard it in my head. So when I got there, I just picked up a guitar and said something like this. And there was a song that was inspiring me a lot at that point in time that I've actually written a few songs after that. There's a song called Supply and Demand by Amos Lee that I just couldn't stop listening to, and I just wanted to keep writing songs like that, and that was sort of my inspiration for that song. So yeah, I was just kind of like hearing the melody and the lyrics in my head, and when I got there, I spit it out to them, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do it." And like I said, 45 minutes, that thing was done.
Yeah, I'm a huge Amos Lee fan. I saw him at the Ryman. I know Supply and Demand too. I'm just a big Amos Lee nerd. But I saw Amos Lee play at the Ryman probably 6 or 7 months ago, and he had lost his voice completely. And so he's up there, he's grinding it out, he's sick. He can only sing the real low parts because the whole high part of his voice was gone. His cold or his whatever had eliminated that. And he had the crowd sing a lot of his songs. And I just felt bad for him. And I was happy that he stayed and tried to sing it. But I wonder, you're the lead singer. If you have that issue, what is it that you do now?
Man, you just do what he did. You power through. I've done it, before. It sucks. I sang with the flu and strep throat before, and it was not fun. And it was a heartbreaking gig because we were playing at the Stone Pony in New Jersey, and that's a big like Springsteen like hot spot, and I'm a huge Springsteen nerd, and that was the first time we ever got to play there, and I was so excited, and I ended up having the flu, and I couldn't sing, but usually I just kind of address it. I say something to the crowd and say, look, at this point, thankfully we have fans that know the words to the songs, and I can say, look, I'm going to push through this, but I need you tonight, and they all just kind of carry you through. But it does suck. It gets in your head, and it gets you down because you want to do the best you can.
You ever do a steroid shot right before and get that pop?
Oh yeah, I've gotten the steroid shots before. They are magical, but they got to be terrible for you.
Yeah, I usually crash really hard about a day and a half later, like hard where I feel worse than I did to begin with. But as long as you can get through the show, like that's all it feels like it matters because people paid money for tickets, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm okay being sick by myself because people didn't lose money if I'm sick by myself.
Right.
And if I'm playing,
they come, and you're harder on yourself than they are. I mean, you could probably get through that show, and no one would even notice if you didn't say anything. But it's still in your head and in your heart, and you want to do the best that you can. And it's such an important and kind of sacred thing when you go out there to do that, and especially the bigger and the crowds get, and you're like, okay, people have been looking forward to this moment, all year long. So I got to give it to them, and it sucks to have to like do it sick, but they wouldn't notice half the time.
I brought up 8 number ones, and that was just Old Dominion. And you brought up Save It for a Rainy Day, which ended up being a Chesney song. How many number ones do you have total that are all in the world? Do you know?
That aren't Old Dominion?
Yeah, like Old Dominion plus other artists.
I have...
Because you got 8 with OD.
Right. So then I've got the one that got away with Michael Ray. I got Save It for Rainy Day with Kenny. I got Say You Do with Dirks. Make You Miss Me with Sam.
Holy crap.
That might be it, I think.
That might be it. When did it start to pop for you as a songwriter in town? Like where people started to actually search you out for rights more so than the other way around?
Oh, man.
Like after what was it? Maybe not a year, but what did you do where people go, oh, that's good, I'd like to write with that guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a song that we wrote, Trevor and I and Josh Osborne wrote a song called Wake Up Loving You that Craig Morgan ended up recording. And that song changed the game for me in a lot of different ways. But it opened up so many doors for me. Like that was, and for Old Dominion, honestly, that was like the song. That song got me a publishing deal when I needed it, terribly. That song probably opened up more doors than any other song.
That song I remember from the meh, meh, like the alarm.
Yeah.
At the beginning of it.
That was my alarm.
Oh, that was from you? Was that from the demo?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. That song, man, it's crazy. Like the moment that got me in the mix was this decision to go to Key West for the Songwriter Festival. Have you ever been there?
No. I usually have to freaking work at my real job. I'd like to go.
Right. It's fun, but like back in the day, this is sort of a long story, but back in the day, I was a stay-at-home dad. I was trying to like work and try to write songs at night and raise my daughter and try to like somehow make this happen. And I was feeling very frustrated because I'm not a very good like networker. And there are people that are really good at that and that gets them pretty far far, and I wasn't really good at that. But I knew that I was, writing stuff that was good, and if I could just get out there, but I couldn't because I had this daughter, and so I was like, look, the whole town goes to Key West for this songwriter festival. If I could just go down there, then I could spend like 3 or 4 days networking for this thing. So I had no money. I had a friend that whose brother is a pilot, and he got me a free ticket. And so I was like, okay, I don't have a place to stay, but I'm going to go. I don't care. I'll find a place to stay. I got a free ticket down there. So I got my bag. I landed in Key West. I'm literally walking down the street with my suitcase, and I see a songwriter buddy of mine. His name's Bruce Wallace. And he was like, dude, where are you staying? I was like, I don't know. And he was like, you should stay with me. I have an extra bed. I got 2 beds. So I stayed with him. ASCAP covered my meals. Like I got a box of granola bars that I would eat for breakfast and for lunch. And then ASCAP got my dinner every night. And then I waited until 3 a.m. at this little bar called the Bottle Cap that was kind of an open mic thing to get up and play my song. And I got up and played Wake Up Loving You, and the whole place went nuts. And actually, Brothers Osborne weren't Brothers Osborne at the time. They were a band called King Billy, and they were the house band. So I got up there with them and played Wake Up Loving You, and that's ended up getting me a publishing deal.
Wow.
And set me, it's amazing.
Let's go back 2 years. Tell me about Old Dominion 2 years ago. Where were you guys? 2018. Like, what was the band thinking? Because that's about the time right before you guys really hit hard.
Yeah, 2018, 2 years ago was when, it sounds crazy, but that's when Make It Sweet happened. That was when it was time to make the next album. And we thought, what are we going to do? Let's just, usually we have a list of songs that we kind of have to go in and record. And I had kind of thrown this little tantrum one night at the end of the year about how we didn't have enough time to make an album. And so we needed more time, and our team, who is wonderful, made the time for us. So our first recording session snuck up on us, and we didn't have any songs in mind. We had songs, but we didn't have a plan. So since we didn't have a plan, we had studio time. We decided to go in and write a song and record it in the same day and see what happened. So that was when Make It Sweet happened, and that sort of set the tone for the whole thing. I can't believe that was that long ago, but it was.
What song that you put out did you feel it the quickest?
Did I what now?
Did you feel it the quickest? Meaning we got ourselves a hit here.
Oh, it was One Man Band for sure.
Really?
Yeah, because that was immediate. We went on tour. The first show was in Chicago in January, and that wasn't necessarily going to be the next single yet. And we played it, and people were already singing it like louder than some of the hits that we had already had. And it was just kind of like a, grat track at that point. So it was such an immediate response to that song.
Yeah, that's my jam. That was my jam too. As soon as it came out, I remember hitting you up being like, "This is my favorite song of my whole life this week."
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that was definitely the biggest one.
Well, listen, man, good to talk to you. I know we were going to do this in studio, but the virus got us, and hopefully it doesn't have either one of us. But we had to throw it down on the phone, so we'll be sure to connect up one day in person. But listen, I'm a big fan of what you do. I'm a massive Old Dominion fan. Is when it comes to albums, I don't think bands should put them out anymore unless your name is Old Dominion. That's the only album that I care to invest all my time into, because you guys just do hit after freaking hit. And the songs you don't put on your record, other artists take them, and then they have number ones. It's like you're just passing out charity hits.
I appreciate it, man.
Well, good to talk to you, Matt, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. Stay healthy.
All right, see you, Matt. Hey, guys, it's Bobby Bones. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and then go check it out. A lot of artists, a lot of songwriters, a lot of music. Welcome to the BobbyCast channel.